You said earlier on, it's etiquette is not just about knives and forks, and or, yeah, knowing how to use a utensil is important, but
Yeah.
knowing how to connect with people
And make
is
them
really
feel
what
comfortable.
etiquette.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, just funny. You're talking about spoons and utensils, what have you. And it's interesting because as you travel around the world, you see that people even use that different ways. And there are a lot of landmines one could step on. It's just
Exactly.
having a meal.
Exactly. Exactly. In fact, the next point I wanted to make is know and respect local customs. Do your research before you go into another country. And I wanted to go over a few. I actually went on the internet just to see, some of the local customs and things like that. And some things really surprised me. Before I get into that, you have one that you want to maybe talk about.
But yes, we were working on a project and we were in the Netherlands for a couple of weeks. So there were weekends and we had dinner with some colleagues and their families on a Friday or maybe it was a Saturday night, and a lot of food and a lot of fun, a lot of good times, and spouses and children. And at one point, we were saying goodnight. The meal was basically over, and the table was filled with uneaten food, and I just naturally in America said, "Oh, do you want to get a doggy bag?" Now, that was jargon. So number one, not everyone understood what that meant, and I said no. I said, do you want them to wrap the food up so take it home? And everyone was quiet, and one just looked at me and said, "Why would we do that?" And I'm thinking, well, because, and I realized this was a faux pas. Something was going on that I wasn't aware of.
Right.
And apparently, as it was explained to me by my colleague, people in the Netherlands, and for the most part, never take food home, and it's
Really?
considered rude
Wow.
and gauche to do that. And I had to very quickly explain that I wasn't insulting him or implying that they were rude, people
Cheap or rude
cheap,
or,
and
uncouth.
and say, oh wow, that's so different from where I come from because no one blinks. I said, and even the fanciest restaurants will wrap up food to go and maybe take aluminum foil and make
Swan, yeah.
a swan, yeah, origami a la aluminum. Right.
Origami a la aluminum. It's funny because I was reading that in England, it is a big faux pas to ask for a doggy bag. The British think that it looks greedy when you ask for a doggy bag. And in France, they don't agree with it either. They learn at an early age that you clear your plate, you clean your plate. There shouldn't be anything left over.
They probably also have less portions than what
Their portions are a lot smaller. But I thought I think that's really a fascinating thing. I personally, when I've taken people out to expensive business meals, I don't actually like when somebody takes a doggy bag when you're at a business meal. I think for some reason it changes the tone a little bit. Do that with your friends, but I would say don't do that in business.
Absolutely, whether you're in the States or overseas, I agree. The business meal, it's just a venue where business is discussed. It's not necessarily about the food, no matter how good or bad the restaurant is.